Hey guys, welcome back to Luke's Garage. Today we're going to be testing and trialing and doing everything you can imagine with Dupli-Color's vinyl and fabric paint. I have done a couple other videos with this stuff, just showing coverage on some interior parts I was refurbishing for my Blazer. But I have received a ton of emails asking any and everything you can think of regarding this paint. Everybody's very curious about it. So I bought a bunch of different cans. I bought some new vinyl. I bought some carpet. I'm going to show you any and everything I can think of, from coverage to durability, and just water down these emails into one video. So hopefully you guys can get answers without having to wait for me to get back to you. You can just have them at once. So let's test this stuff out. The test we're going to do now is I've got a couple brand new vinyl squares. Everything's nice and clean, so it's not out of an old vehicle, it's just brand new vinyl. And what we're going to test for is coverage, to see how well it'll cover this black square. That seems to be the problem I've had with this Dupli-Color, is if you get darker carpet, actual coverage and how these coats, how many coats it'll take to cover, varies drastically, if it'll even cover at all. But we'll start with vinyl and see how each of these 4 different colors look on these vinyl squares. And then once they cure up, we'll do some durability tests to see how well they hold up. What I'm going to do is apply just a tack coat like I would if I was painting the interior vehicle. The first color I'm going to test is white. So just super light, and we'll let that set up for about 5 minutes and apply our second coat. Now we'll do the second and final coat. So far what I can tell is this stuff dries super fast. Already, kind of messing around with the original coat. Doesn't seem to come off. Seems pretty sturdy. So we'll apply the second coat, and I'll apply that one fairly thick. And I'll let that one cure up and put one more final coat on. Here are all of our squares after two coats, and I used a black vinyl originally just because as coverage coats it's really easy to see how well a paint will cover, with black being the undercoat. So as you can see at an angle with this white paint, it didn't cover all that well after 2 coats. I'm definitely going to need a 3rd coat with the white paint. And you come over here to the red, same thing. This red paint didn't cover all that well. Definitely going to need a 3rd coat of red. And then if we come to our gloss black, black on black, it looks awesome. So highly recommend the black just by looking at this vinyl square. And then if we come to our matte black, it looks awesome as well, but it looks just like, if you guys can see that, it looks just like our gloss black. So if you're going for the matte finish, you'll probably end up with gloss, just depending on, the vinyl situation I've got here. We'll check it out on the carpet and see how that looks. But what I'll do now is add a 3rd coat of paint to each of these squares, and then we'll try out some different durability tests that you'd typically find in your vehicle. The next test we will do is try and spray paint this black carpet. It's automotive carpet. It's out of an existing vehicle. I have cleaned it. I've run it through the washer and dryer just to get all the old oil and all the old deposits out of it. Obviously it's still dirty, but this will be a great test because it's existing carpet. So I would assume most people are spraying existing carpet because you're essentially trying to make it look new-ish. So we will try the first coat on black using our red spray paint, and I'll bring this camera in close. So right away it doesn't look great. I'm using a nylon brush to maybe brush this into the carpet. So looking a little better, it's not pilling up on it. And what I'll do is let that set, and I'll come back and apply a couple more coats. Also get another chunk of carpet and try out the white color. This is the white coat. I will let that set for a little while and come back and do a few more coats. These pieces of carpet have had about 10 minutes to dry. The paint is totally dry. It's a little bit crispy, like you would think, paint being on carpet, but I think that after time it'll wear down and be fairly soft again. It doesn't appear to be dyeing this black carpet white. It's going to take a bunch of coats to get it there, and I'll use the whole can if I have to, just to show, you know, cost-wise, if you're buying whole cans of paint, it might be cheaper just to buy brand new white carpet or red carpet or whatever. You can hear it. Yeah, it just might be cheaper just to buy new carpet. But depending on the application, if you have light colored carpet, I'm sure that these paints would do a little bit better job of covering. So this is black carpet being the worst case scenario for coverage. What I'll do now is apply another coat of paint, and we'll keep trying to dye both of these red and white. This is coat number 2 of the red paint. And again, I'll take my nylon brush, kind of brush this paint down into the carpet so it can get on all the threads and dye it. This is coat 2 of the white paint. And again, I'll just brush all this white paint down into the fibers. And we'll let that set. Come back in about another 10 minutes and check out and see how these are coating. Okay, so our second coat has dried. A little bit crispier, but again, I don't think that's going to be an issue. Once you sit on this and move it around, I think it'll soften up. But the overall coverage is not great. I really don't anticipate this thing turning red all the way, but I'll put a few more coats on and see what happens. And here is the white piece as well. As you can see, similar coating issues. It's not really taking the paint, but what I'll do is I'll set these back up and we'll run a couple more coats over them and see if we can get this thing to turn white and red. On this one, I'm really going to drench the carpet, see if by adding just a ton of it, it will just soak in, maybe turn it red. I'm hopeful. I mean, even at that, you can still see a lot of the black color still shining right through there. We'll also coat this one in white. And again, not really doing the job it should be. As you can see, it's got kind of a funny little look to it. I mean, I could work this stuff in there, but I don't think it's going to help. And I could just keep spraying this as much as possible, and I don't know if necessarily either one of them are going to coat enough to actually turn red or white. And again, this is on black carpet, so this is going to be the most extreme case. If you had, light carpet and you're spraying it with this light paint, I think that actual coverage would be better. but definitely something to note. You know, if you're working with black carpet and you're trying to make it these lighter colors, I don't know why you'd be painting them red or white, but it definitely doesn't work very well at all, and you probably go through piles of this stuff and still not achieve complete results. In this case, we'll try to just scratch this with our fingernail. I think that would be a pretty common occurrence in a rig, so scratching it pretty hard. Paint still looks good, not coming off. So with the red vinyl, we'll just try folding it, scrunching it up, pulling it, twisting it, and see if any of the paint flakes off. It all still looks great. There's no signs of cracking in the paint. You know, pulling it, I'm sure if it sees a lot of this, like any paint, it's going to start to flake off, but the initial just pull and beat it up test doesn't seem to really have any impact on the paint. It seems to flex really, really well with, you know, with this vinyl. Now I will cut a section of it to see if it flakes off at the cut. No issues there. Still flexes just fine at the edges. We have our white piece of vinyl now, and just try scratching it pretty hard. I mean, the paint, I'm actually ruining the material. The paint isn't coming off though, so that's a good sign. Good scratch test. Very durable. Again, we will try with a wire bristle brush to try and scuff this paint up. I guess I do circles on it, maybe. It's not really doing any damage to it. This stuff is pretty durable paint once it gets cured up. Everything coming off is dirt off this brush. But if I keep scrubbing on it, it's just dirty. So yeah, the paint itself is really durable, but just the coverage portion of it is what we have issues with. Here are our final products. So we have white paint on black carpet, and then we have white paint on black vinyl. The white paint on the black vinyl turned out nice. 3 coats to get it to this finish, and the durability test, it's pretty solid. Everything holds up really well on this. It's not going to come off unless you really beat on it, but it just yeah, it sticks really well to that. But the carpet, on the other hand, we tried soaking this in paint, we tried brushing paint into the fibers, and it just does not look right. So I'm not recommending putting paint on any of your interior carpet unless it's black. I've had some luck with the black. We still have to put a lot of black on to make it actually look dark, and I'll show you in my blazer how that turned out. But any other colors I have had less than good luck with. Here is our red paint on black carpet. Obviously you can tell, unless you're planning your vehicle to be a haunted house, this isn't a great look. The paint just kind of globbed together. I tried brushing it in, I tried soaking this thing in paint, and there's still obviously a ton of black in the fibers. It's not really dyeing anything. You might have better luck with lighter carpet if you're trying to paint it red, you know, like a brown or something, but I still think, and I'm convinced, that the brown or whatever color would still show through this red paint. So I'm not recommending painting carpet. I'll show you guys in my blazer. I used black paint on blue carpet, and it turned out okay. It's still, you know, halfway there, but I would recommend just replacing carpet. Vinyl, on the other hand, the vinyl turns out awesome. The paint flexes, as you can see in the tests. It's hard to scratch off. It holds its own pretty well in the way of sticking and folding with whatever vinyl you want to paint. Here is an example of black paint on blue carpet or fabric. So you can see it right in there. This is what the color used to be. It didn't look as nice as this blue, but I spray painted these black. They look a lot better not looking through the camera, but you can see, you know, after a few months of wear and tear, the paint's starting to come off, starting to see the blue through the seats again, and then also on the vinyl portion of the seat where it sees a lot of compression throughout, you know, the hot days. It's starting to kind of flake off a little bit, but everywhere else that I've applied it, including the plastic trim pieces, it's flawless. It looks awesome. Just dusty, but it seems to hold up really well on these plastic pieces as well, like interior components all look really nice still.